Right, let's talk about your fighting game community. A conversation spurred up recently as people start to think about going back to their locals on whether it's still worth the gas money. The pandemic hasn't treated everybody equally, and there are people that have thrived either in tournaments, personal development, or socially as a result of the drastic change in format that the fighting game communities have been put through in the past couple of years. For all that we've been through, it hasn't all been bad, and it hasn't been bad for everyone. Now there's a million directions that you can take that discussion. Do locals need to now change their approach? Do they need to trade in all their consoles for some high-end PCs now that players have had a taste of that? Do they now need to cater for both online and offline events all year round? Is there still credence to the belief that the FGC is an arcade culture in an era where there are a lot of players that grew up with their first fighting games having online functionality prioritised above whether they'll have an arcade cabinet? I'm going to answer as much of this as possible by looking at it from the perspective of what it means to be in a community. That means this is not a discussion about online versus locals, console versus PC, or rushdown versus speed kicks. No matter what direction the FGC goes in, let's use this conversation to make sure we're as best equipped as possible as we step into the unknown world of fighting in this pandemic era post-arcade apocalypse that we've ended up in, online or offline. So let's look at this through three significant changes that we've encountered over the past couple of years. How do fighting game communities need to change with respect to the way that technology's changed? How do fighting game communities need to change with respect to how communities and their perception has changed? And how do you need to change as a player or as a TO with respect to these previous changes? So, technology. The online versus offline discourse has existed for quite some time, but the recent spike in discussion has cropped up because of the impending doom in the Street Fighter community. Having to leave their nice, pristine, powerful PCs at home and return to the wasteland of playing on PS4s and PS5s that empirically have had performance issues with Street Fighter V since launch is a scary thought. The PC version has not been all roses either, but it has been on a better trajectory than the console release when it comes to stability, not to mention the FGC's recent realisation that a native 60 frames per second game benefits from 144Hz display ports feeding it to your eyeballs. This has driven some people to the conclusion that we'll soon be in a position where online plays better than offline. A lot of competitive games already play that way. Developers are starting to actually take netcode seriously, and the world isn't getting any smaller. In fact, a lot of people have experienced more access to tournaments and more diverse attendances than they would have before 2020, since locals and majors haven't had the usual costs and travel time associated with them. So if the hardware at home is better, the logistics are, at least for the players, simpler, and the quality of attendees is higher, why leave the house? With this in mind, let's start talking about that community aspect. There is more to an in-person event than this competitive perspective, whether it's a local, a major, or even an invitational. For as long as I've been in the FGC, the first bit of advice I've seen handed out to anyone that wants to improve is go to your local. It's easy to think of this as a pure technology thing. Up until now, there's been stuff that you can get away with online that won't work offline due to the reduced latency and the ability to react and stuff your attempt. Even if your main intention isn't to play in a local environment, training with the ankle weights of not relying on lag to make your options viable will harden your game plan, as well as prepare you for those big in-person events if you do get to them. This is, however, the smallest factor of going from asking for help on a social media platform to going to a local as part of your improvement. Going to a local event makes you part of a social unit. No matter how much of a lone wolf you think you are, it places you into an exchange where you provide for the people around you just as much as you take positives from those interactions yourself. In any community, and I mean it, take this stuff to your boot club, your karate club, whatever communities you're also a part of, there are some things that take place that make a community what it is, and being aware of them can help you foster your growth and the growth of the people around you. In community theory, these break down into membership, influence, integration and fulfillment of needs, and a shared emotional connection. Whether you like it or not, this is the social contract you form with a community when you engage with it. Yes, even when you're just jumping onto a Discord. It's everyone's responsibility to uphold it, and it's the organiser's role to make sure that there's an environment for it. And this is where this no need for offline argument begins to wobble. That's not to say these things can't be provided in pure online communities, but it's more that until they do as well as offline communities do in this aspect, there'll always be a place for them, even if it means playing on a console that sounds like it's got permission for takeoff. Membership. When it comes to that membership part, Corey Gaming has said more than I possibly could. Link in description for their video. In short, part of membership is forming a sense of belonging with the people around you. This is a physical space with physical artifacts and cultural cues. This can be pretty effortless. By comparison, even getting someone to click to say they've read the terms and conditions on an online community's welcome page can require some begging. So if things are moving online, what do we need to do to let people know that they're in their temple, that they belong, and that they're safe? Also, how do you create that boundary of being in versus out without a physical doorway or a registration table? These are all key things to think about, whether you're a local scene migrating online or a new online scene that's forming. Influence. Does your community influence you, and do you influence your community? If all you're doing is signing up to weeklies, going O2 and then leaving without participating in the social aspect, thanking the TOs or giving any feedback, then your scene is only going to be as good as the zero influence that you're feeding it. Again, this isn't limited to offline or online, but this cold transactional approach to tournaments is a lot easier to do in an online setting. We see it in tournaments where there's DQs 3 rungs into the brackets because walking away from your computer is easier than walking away from a venue. Getting people to treat online communities with the same level of respect as offline isn't easy. We've also seen that making it all online all the time hasn't caused people to immediately take online more seriously either. Some of the worst instances of dropouts have taken place in the last 2 years. Integration and fulfillment of needs. What is your reward for participating? For a lot of people, the reward is getting better. When it comes to tournaments, competition is often the test, but not the path to improvement in that sense. The test is valuable. It tells you where you currently sit and quite often what some of the gaps in your ability are. But the practice and conversation around your matches is where the improvement actually happens. I've seen some scenes have done really well here, being online only, whether it's the Virtua Fighter community hosting their lobbies with voice chat running the whole time, or tournaments like Sunday Face Off that have provided teams with Discord lounges and well-structured timekeeping so that players can support their mates and know when there's enough time to squeeze in some matchup practice before the next games. There is value that an event can provide outside of competition, and it's the responsibility of the TO to make an atmosphere where that can happen. Two of the reasons that we've seen so much burnout in this online-only era has been that the only measure and often value that a player is able to interpret is going from competition to competition to competition, with nothing meaningful taking place in between. Also, many local clubs have failed to keep their scenes talking while they've been apart from each other. You might think it's none of your business to do that, but it's going to make itself your business if your players burn out and there's no scene to go back to. A shared emotional connection. The fact that chip getting nerfs is important to you is because it's important to other people around you. And similarly, it turns out the more you engage with a community, the more important that community becomes to you. It's a lot easier to say offline doesn't matter when you haven't been offline for 2 years. It's easy to say Ultra Street Fighter 4 is a dead game because you haven't played it for 5 years. And it's easy to say that the FGC isn't what it used to be when you haven't been taking part as much as you used to or in the same way that you used to. Your stake in something and your involvement in something are directly proportional. We used to be connected by the common thread of arcade culture, but as the community gets bigger, younger and more diverse in terms of what's brought them here, the things in common between people are more likely to be within the games themselves and not all of the stuff that goes around them. So ensuring that people share the things that they do have in common and giving them opportunities to celebrate that stuff, once again, becomes harder when it's not someone nudging you asking if this match is tournament, where Daigo is, or where you got that slice of pizza from. As silly as that might seem, the FGC is about people and always has been, so no matter what kind of space your community resides in, ask yourself what you're doing to make sure that's not getting lost. And with all that in mind, what are you doing in the face of changing technological and cultural aspects of the fighting game community? Whether you're a TO or a player, the contract is the same. Be there, online or offline. The act of turning up is sacred. In psychology, the reason that the therapist always gives their patient a set time and place is to create emotional safety and sanctitude. On that particular day, between those particular hours, that thing will be there for you, and you will be there for it, and that is valued. Same goes for anything that's important to you. Participate in what is valued, not just on game day, but in chat groups and discords and the hashtags outside of that too. Your community is a reflection of you, you are a reflection of it, and those things can only balance out and be something to celebrate if you express and allow others to express. Provide outlets for conversation and feedback, make them multimedia so that the quiet person can send a text if they don't want to shout over the louder people, and build trust by listening and responding to those people around you. Come to better yourself, but stay to better each other. If you're only turning up to measure yourself, you're hurting yourself and your competition, and by hurting the competition, you're actually hurting yourself once more on top of that, as the skill ceiling starts to level off. It takes people to be a person, so don't be shy about reaching out to others in your scene to help you achieve your goals and do your best to return the favour. Take pride in your community. It's not easy to shout out when they're doing a great job, and it's harder still when they're doing a shitty job. But to have something that's meaningful to you and something to be proud of, you have to be able to do both. Where your community takes place is important, but these things matter more. If you don't think there's a need for offline, that's fine, but only if you've made every effort to make something out of it in the first place. Hopefully this gives you some things to look out for. Otherwise, even if online did become the more viable option, your communities will fall down for the exact same reasons that a badly run local would. It'll just be less obvious where the gaps are and more silent when it collapses. And a final note, just to be sure, this isn't a call to arms for everyone to be firing up their locals again. My local has started up again, albeit to a much smaller degree and a lot more safety forward. I don't expect everyone to be as strict as I am, but I'm still patiently waiting for things to calm down a bit more in the UK, even though my local's back, and that sucks. So if you're watching this and online is literally your only option right now, for whatever reason, I'm with you on that one, don't worry. I'm not here to slag off the only option that you might have. Embrace whatever scene you've got in whatever way you can. I'll catch you later.